What a crazy offseason, if you want to call it offseason. What a crazy end of the season with Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody's wanting to retire. People are just cutting out the Eagles locker room. What is going on? Man, the Eagles might lose their defensive assistants, Tyler Yate, to Nebraska. Nebraska might have him on as the safeties coach. So we might lose him as well. Defense assistant, he wasn't big into the performance of the team, but um, I guess he played a part with Vic Fangio. While we're speaking of Vic Fangio, man, Vic Fangio, with him trying to retire, we had to pretty much talk him to come back in. EJ Smith might believe he believes that if this year goes well for Vic and he still has a passion for football, he could come back and coach again. So this might not be his last year, but we will go through the Jason Kelsey saga. That's what we call it now. When you want to retire, but you don't retire, then you come back, and then we might go through that with Vic Fangio. I think I'm willing to go through that with Vic Fangio. A lot of people aren't though. A lot of people are looking to get Jim Schwartz back. Yeah, it's crazy. Jim Schwartz just put in his resignation for the Browns defensive head coaching job. So what makes us believe that he wants to come back here and be the defensive head coach? I mean the defensive coordinator for us. I don't believe that he wants to do it. I think that Jim Schwartz is out for any defensive coordinator job. He wants to be a head coach somewhere. He did the exact same thing with us when we didn't promote him to head coach and brought in Nick Sirianni. He took his stuff and went home, as Hugh Douglas would say. So I don't believe Jim Schwartz is even a real candidate to be our defensive coordinator. So it's funny to me how a lot of these people feel as if Jalen Hurts is not capable of learning a new offense. We have a video here with somebody blatantly, I think it's WIP. Sometimes WIP goes way off the hinges when they go into their talks and conversations, where he believes that Jalen Hurts will not pick up this offense well, and we probably gonna be looking for another quarterback. Also, Landon Dickerson contemplating retirement. We had Lane Johnson contemplating retirement, and now Landon Dickerson. I got reason to believe Lane Johnson is coming back. We're gonna talk about Landon Dickerson leaving and what that could mean for us. So let's get into it. Oh, what's up, Philadelphia Eagles fans? It's your boy Philly Day War, and yeah, Vic's back, and he could be back for longer. EJ Smith believes that he could be back for longer, and that's good news. Music to my ears. Nobody runs this defense like Vic Fangio runs this defense. So let me play the video.
Talk about Vic Fangio. I had been hearing it was up in the air that most likely he was going to come back, but maybe he was going to step away. And then you reported, looks like he's coming back. And then last night that news made official. What do you know about that whole situation and what transpired?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely on the table. He seriously considered retiring. It was a long season for a lot of those guys. It was a tough way to end the year. And I think Vic, every offseason, really does consider how many more years he wants to coach and if he wants to keep coaching. So, my understanding was that the team had contingency plans in place. They started to think about succession planning for Vic. But after much persuasion, Vic decided he wanted to come back. And, I've heard people wonder, why Christian Parker took the Cowboys defensive coordinator job. I think Christian Parker probably didn't want to wait to see what Vic Fangio's decision was going to be. And he also wasn't going to be a shoo-in for the job. So, I think the Eagles will be happy that they got Vic Fangio back in the building. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. And I also don't think that it's a given that this is going to be his last year. I think he's probably going to take stock every single offseason, just to see where he is and if he wants to keep going.
Oh, that I needed to hear that. With everything going on, retirements, and people wanting to get out of here. Jeff Stoutland leaving. He didn't get fired. Jeff Stoutland left. And a lot of people believe that with Jeff Stoutland leaving, Lane Johnson might be right behind him. I got reason to calm that. Baldy was with him very shortly and had a conversation with him. And this is what he said.
About Lane, that Lane right now is up in the air, and you were with him last night. You think he's going to play?
I think, but I tell you, I know where you're going, cuz just being with Lane last night, I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's going to play. But he also said something that kind of shocked me, that I'll give this guy a chance. Let's give whoever it is, I'm going to give him a chance. Which is pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
When you've been groomed by one guy.
Yeah.
Your whole career. And Lane was last time saying, Baldy, man, go back and watch my rookie year tape. Like, I had real flaws. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into. I played offensive line 2 years at Oklahoma.
Right.
I didn't, and, he's his fourth pick of the draft, and, how he struck gold. But,
yeah, that's great news, man. That gives us time to, like, put our ducats together. Like, Lane Johnson, I think the guy who will be behind Lane Johnson will be Cameron Williams from Texas. We drafted him last year, I want to say 6th round pick. I think that he could be a really good player. 315 pounds. When he got in to start the season, he played against the Redskins, and he played rather well. He was playing against Elvis Dumervil. So he had one rep where Elvis Dumervil pushed him right into the pocket. But Elvis Dumervil is a seasoned veteran. This kid was a rookie playing Elvis Dumervil. And Elvis Dumervil did not get he did get a sack. I'm sorry. He did get a sack on him. But again, this is a rookie. He's got to get into a regimen. He didn't have an off season to prepare for the season. So I think he could be really, really good. But being that we got Lane Johnson back, we probably will get to see him in spurts. But hopefully not too much. Give him another season to kind of get acclimated. Let Lane teach him the ropes. And I think we'd be good, after that if Lane wants to retire. But I doubt that, because Lane is trying to get some of these years back. He dealt with a lot of injuries as well. Like how Landon Dickerson did. He dealt with a lot of injuries as well, and he felt like his prime years was robbed of him. I think he said this right after the Super Bowl or going into the Super Bowl, and he felt like his prime years was robbed of him, and he's felt the best he's ever felt as far as performance-wise, and he wants to put all that stuff together in his later years. So I think we can have him a lot longer than people believe we'll have him. It's just him staying healthy, because last couple games we weren't able to put Lane back out there. Since we're talking about Landon Dickerson, we might as well go ahead and get into it. Landon Dickerson is contemplating retirement because he feels as if his body isn't healing. Landon Dickerson, coming into the league, has had numerous of injuries. His knees, backs. He had to deal with the previous surgery of his knees, and he's back on the field. And we think he's superhuman. But if you look at him play, he barely can move. I think Jason Kelce said that he was watching him on film and he couldn't really move. So I think this is concerning because we don't know who we can put in that situation. I think we still got Brett Toth on the roster, but he's no Landon Dickerson. You can't put Brett Toth in there and think that you're going to move anybody. You know what I'm saying? So this is an issue that needs to be addressed immediately. And it scares me because if Landon Dickerson is gone because of a lot of injuries, he's not being able to move. Who's next? Is Cam Jurgens I'm thinking of retirement, because Cam Jurgens hadn't been the same either. He dealt with injuries, and he said right before the 49ers game that he feels as fresh as he's felt all season long. So he's had a lingering injury all season long. The only difference with Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens is I think we have maybe 2 replacements for Cam Jurgens. So we have like on the roster, we have two replacements for Cam Jurgens that can play the position and maybe play it really, really good, right? Really well. So Drew Kendall and Willie Lipkin, I think that either one of them, they can battle for that position. Neither one of them played for the, well, Willie Lipkin didn't get any snaps, but Drew Kendall got a couple of snaps and he didn't get hit with a head fake swim move. And this happened to Cam Jurgens all season long. So I don't think we're in that big of an issue if Cam Jurgens does do it. I think with Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, if this was, it's just in theory, hypothetically speaking, if this was to happen, that should free up a lot of cap space. Do I want it to happen? No. I would like for Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens to get healthy so we can run a healthy offensive line. But with retirements talk from, two of our star linemen, that don't put me in a really comfortable situation. I don't feel good about that. But I think Landon Dickerson is more likely than anybody's. If you can't heal on something, Calvin Johnson was somebody who left the game because his body was feeling bad. He felt bad for too long. Landon Dickerson, when his body felt like, not Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, when his body felt like this, he wanted to retire and he went into a depression. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they can help him get healthy and he can get back to being Landon Dickerson. But if not, I see this, that's got to be a priority we fix as soon as possible. First round, it need to be number one priority is to get a offensive lineman, offensive guard. So that's all I got, man. Like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications on so you don't miss a video, and we out. Let's go Birds.